When I was 12 years old, I went with my mom to work one day. I got suspended for burning a hole in my teacher's underwear while she was not looking. I used this laser beam and a magnifying glass, and she would always bend over, and she was very mean to me. You know, she would call me a jack donkey, and just because I would laugh at the names of the books she chose. She once had us read a book called Raggedy Dick. We were in 5th grade. Do you really think that's a good idea, Mrs. Lamprey? No. So, I only take partial responsibility for burning a hole in your underwear while the entire class watched. It's your responsibility as an adult to make sure your underwear is not showing in front of your entire class. And you were 58 years old. You were not even a new teacher. So I don't know. Let's share the responsibility, please. Anyway, toys were the most beautiful thing in the world to me. As a child, I used to love opening them. I used to love playing with them. I used to love throwing them against the wall until they shattered into a billion pieces, and I cackled like a jackal and over them with a demonic air to my visage. I used to love everything about toys. I would fight them against each other. In fact, that's the only thing I really did with them, as they would have tournaments. And I guess once I started going through puberty, I would mate my toys. Like I had an Austin Powers toy that I would mate with Sable, who was a wrestling toy. But that marked the end of me playing with toys. One day, my mom took me into work because I got suspended, like I said, and I went across the street to the mall. I was playing the video game Trial, playing Banjo-Kazooie or Monto's Revenge or Papali Papadom, one of those games on N64. And then a police officer came up to me and said, "Hey kid, how old are you?" And I said, "I am 12 years old." And he said, "No, you're not, kid. You look like you're about 8, maybe 9. Let me see your pubes." And I said, "No, what? Pubes? I don't have pubes yet. I'm only 12. And he said, "I had a giant bush by the time I was 6. So what the hell, kid? You ain't old enough to be here alone. Where's your mom?" And I said, "My mom's right across the street." And he's like, "Yeah, right. You're coming with me." Station, and I called my mom's office, and she came and picked me up, and she took me back to her office. And she had a coworker named Barindo, who was from South Chicago, and he was Yugoslavian and Turkish, and he would always tell me weird things whenever I saw him, so I didn't like to go into her office too much. One time he told me, I have a kitten named Zambo, and I make him run through knives while it is quiet in the dusk of the evening. And I was like, what the heck, man? I don't need to know any of this. And he had a toy for me that day, and I was like, oh my god, I get a toy? This is so exciting. I didn't expect to get a toy today. And he put the toy on top of a very high shelving unit, and then he took away the ladder, and he said, if you can get the toy down, it's yours, Andrew. And so I made that my mission that day. I stood around and waited till there were no customers and my mom wasn't looking, and then I climbed the ladder and then I climbed the shelving unit. There was no ladder, and it fell, and it made a terrible crash, a terrible clatter, and my mom said, ah! And people said, ah, what was that? What was that? What was that? And then I ran out of the building, and the cop was waiting for me right there with his big pubes sticking out of his pants. And I said, sir, this is where my mom works. I told you she works there. My mom came running out, and she was like, why is your pubes out, mister? Why are your pubes out in front of my son? And he said, nothing, I was just showing him how the law works. And after that, I never went to my mom's office, but I have the toy that her coworker gave to me still preserved. I never opened it because I knew that there was probably some kind of airborne poison inside of it. And that is why it remains in my closet to this very day. But I still want toys. If you got any cool action figures, I would like them to play with. Thank you. Good night.